Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to Sit Down and Shut Up, Monday night edition. Hope you're all doing well. Today we have Schmiddy. He's been on the show before, but I think they run different characters, so let's bring him on. Hey, Schmiddy, can you hear me?
Yo,
Hey, how's
what's
it
up?
going? How you been? Been a minute.
Yeah,
Cool,
yeah,
man.
pretty good.
Yeah, good.
Been
So,
trying out Elena
yeah, I was about to
because
ask, how you liking Elena so far?
I like the poke centric playstyle a lot.
Okay, okay. You were running
Um,
Guile before, right? If I'm not mistaken.
yeah, and I realized that playing without a fireball is really hard for me now.
It's definitely an adjustment, right? Like, oh, I can't just like chuck something out there to control space. Now I have to play neutral.
Yeah.
Yeah, like grounded neutral footsies type stuff. I can't just use fireballs to, you know, control space anymore, right? So, okay. So tell me a little more about what you're running into. So is it just like trying to deal with neutral without a fireball, or what's been happening in your games?
It feels like I think that Elena's really weak at defense in general, and I think that I'm not good at defense with her.
Okay,
Because yeah, there'll be a lot of times where I'll just ODDP and then blow up, you know.
gotcha.
And I
So
think that I'm just not very patient.
gotcha.
Um,
Okay. So just like general defense then sounds like, right? Because Elena does have the ODDP, right? She does have the reversals. So just have the tools available, but sounds like maybe you're struggling with like some of the decision making that goes into that, or some other stuff, huh?
yeah, and then some of it's execution, which you could give me tips, but you can't really help me much there. But
Yeah.
she just has kind of hard combos and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. So I don't play Elena. I haven't actually run
Yeah,
into too many Elenas in ranked, which is kind of funny. Maybe it's just the nature of where I am. I don't know. But I do know that I do know a couple of things, so we could probably talk about that. I do know that a lot of her stuff kind of relies on using roll, making sure that you get enhanced moves or plus frames, that type of thing. So we could talk about some of those things. I'll have to look it up, to be honest with you. But we can
yeah,
definitely talk about like the neutral game, like how spacing works and some of that stuff, right? Because when it came to Guile, right, the way that you kind of controlled space was through booms and through pokes, right? So you would throw
yeah,
booms, and then if they jumped, you would flash kick them, and if they got too close, you would press a button to try to keep them out, right? But for
yeah.
you, as Guile, you don't have to move, right? You can kind of plant, can hold your charge, wait for them to come to you, and if they don't, you just throw booms, right? So it's a different kind of overall game plan, right? Versus Elena,
Yeah.
which is more of like a counter poker, right? So like her job is to
Hmm.
get the opponent to whiff, and then use her kind of tricky movement and outstanding buttons to score the knockdown, or get into like a roll combo, right? So some sort of fish for a hit, go into enhanced roll, and then do a mix up from there, right? So like hit me,
Yeah.
do an ender of some kind, or force another mix up, right? So even if it's on block, you get some plus frames, and then I have to guess, right? So okay, so we can play. We'll play the set. We'll see what's going on with that. Go ahead and queue up, and then we'll talk more about what's happening after the game. So, for anyone who's new, I guess, and if you need a reminder, we'll run a first to three. I'll kind of get a sense of where you're at, what's going on with you, and all that. After that, we'll do a replay review and take a look at one of the games that we played now, and then one of the games that you sent me. So you sent me a few replays earlier, so we'll take a
Yeah.
look at one of those. If there's anything in the lab we want to hop into, we can, or anything we want, any situation that we want to look at further, we can hop into the lab, take a look at some of those in depth. And then if there's time after and you're up for it, we can run another first to three, and
Cool.
kind of see if anything helps there. So cool, man. So I see you queued up. Just a reminder, I'm gonna deafen during this, so to impact what you do, and I
Yeah.
may let the timer run all the way down, pretty close to 1 or 2, just as I continue to articulate thoughts and stuff. So, with that
Sure.
said, good luck.
Yeah. Congrats on ranking up, by the way.
Oh, thanks. 1700 been a long time coming. All right, buddy. Good luck. Garbo. Good to see you, man. Getting 1700 show me all the way to Promised Land 2000 MR. Yeah. Is there really a lot of Elena at 1700? I didn't know that. So that button's really good. Like that forward heavy kick or whatever. That one right there is so good. See? Hit confirmable. Gotta hold this L. Hey, look at it. Hit confirm. So I'm pretty sure that first one after the drive rush is plus. Oh, nice. But should be dead here, right? Yeah. Yeah, crouch me put. Yeah, it's hard for me to read Elena's movements. I haven't run into enough to like get a nice sense of like the range she wants to play at. Okay, mash. Clutch the. I'm playing costume 3 because I got the EX color for it. Yeah, I got the EX color and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna run it. So what I'm seeing right now, actually, they're doing a really good job keeping me out neutral, right? They're using Elena's longer buttons to keep me from kind of doing stuff. But if I catch them moving... A lot of mash. Ouch. Oh, no anti-air. Oh, that's nice, so red. Hey, Corvo, your message got flagged for bullying, bro. Let's see, reversal here. Hold on, I gotta allow this. Corvo, you got dropped for bullying. Oh, that's funny. I was grand 700 was okay actually. So I was at 1650 for a while. Like I know you guys probably know I was hard. I don't want to say hard stuck, but I was definitely like stuck for a bit. And then I don't know. Yesterday I was just feeling it and just went for it. Good reversal. Yeah, so I don't really understand Elena's ranges, to be honest. Oh, I should have. Okay. Fuck yourself. Hey, man, that jacket is probably been sitting in his whatchamacallit, his attic for a while, right next to his Harley. The heavy punch is really good. Hey, Flash. Thank you. Oh. Yeah, see, like, that situation right there, pretty sure she's plus after I block the, whatever that move is, the enhanced move. Almost with Jamar. I feel like Elena so far, which actually, yeah, what it is, I think, for Elena is that, at least for me currently, is that she kind of moves in neutral, right? Like if she's standing there, her character moves. But what I'm seeing out of Schmiddy right now is they're actually doing a pretty good job of controlling space with Elena's buttons here, right? I'm having a hard time getting through, right? The only times I'm able to get through is if I'm able to induce a whiff. But they're doing a really good job of like mixing me up after the enhanced roll. Uh-oh. So the best way, I think I have to just poke, right? Hey, Toast. Thank you. Oh. Oh, nice slide. Yeah, I feel like, again, her pokes are kind of long, and I'm having a hard time dealing with the length, right? Yeah, it's not against the fireballs. Like, he was able to slide underneath them, right? The big thing is that like after the, oh shit. Like after these Oki situations, right? Like that right there, the mix. Right, so being able to get into enhanced roll, or me not knowing the frame data behind the actual rolls means I'm not quite sure when the challenge, right? So far, I've just kind of been mashing jab, and it kind of works against non-enhanced roll, so... Almost. Nice reversal. Oh, no DP? I'm pretty sure I can't press after that medium kick. I think this is a medium kick. Reversal. The medium kick one, I think that's pretty plus if I'm not mistaken. I'm kind of getting away with it on the second one because they're pressing, I think they're pressing another medium button after that. So anyway, let's bring them on and see what they think. Hey Schmiddy, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I just died to myself a few times there.
Yeah, a little reversal heavy. I'm not gonna lie to you. And it's okay
Yeah.
though. Like I don't mind going for that. Like if you're making that read or whatever, it's okay if you have a read on my movement or whatever. Because I had been kind of applying media pressure and all that stuff. But yeah, if you're selecting reversal a lot, it's gonna, especially in the set, it's gonna make me not want to take Oki as often, right? So
Yeah.
if you notice me not taking Oki more often, that allows you to do something else on defense, right? You don't have to just block all the time. So anyway, I think you actually did a really good job of controlling space. Elena does a really good job of that, right? I was having kind of a hard time figuring out the ranges that you wanted to play at to actually, whiff punish and all that. So let's take a look at one of the games here. I'm going to stream in Discord so you can see it real time as opposed to having to watch the Twitch stream. Let's take a look at one of these games here.
I will say, I think I did a little better this time than when I played you, Guile, the first time.
Yeah, yeah. I think that you have gotten a lot better at like recognizing spacing, and without a fireball, it kind of made you have to get better at that, right? You have to. You're gonna lose every game if you don't, right? If you stand back or whatever. So I think like playing more in that kind of mindset and mentality has been helping for sure. Like it was harder for me to kind of get in and do stuff. So let's take a look at game 2. I think this is, let's see, was this one? Yeah, let's take a look at this one. Yeah, let's watch this one.
Yeah, definitely still just dropping some of those combos.
Yeah, some of the combos, I think for Elena, it's kind of like turret combo confirm into like roll, and then you have to press the right button at the right timing, right? I know I was having a little bit of trouble with her combo trials when I first, played her. It takes a bit to get used to it. So anyway, let's take a look at the game. I want to say that in this round, you did a really good job of keeping me out. So let's see what happens here. There you go. Right, so that move is really, really good, right? The forward heavy, it's a heavy punch, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That move is really good, right? Like, I know it's a little bit slow or whatever, but it takes up a ton of space. Like, look how far this hits me.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this is absurd in terms of range, right? So I think you did a really good job of using this button. And it's very hit confirmable if I'm not mistaken, right? So you did do that a couple of times on me when this landed. Like, I was trying to get into the range and poke you. You landed this and able to confirm, right? So really good button here. I like the usage of this, right? But we'll see how if and when I adjust this, but this is like textbook, right? So like I walk into the space, right? And you just press, right? And this is like pretty good range for that. I can't really challenge you with anything, right? So this is really good. Right, so I try to use Ken's longest range normal. It's not even close, right? Like I whiff this by a ton, right? It's not even close. It's like to be fair, I expected you to kind of walk forward here. So like right from this spacing, I throw this out thinking you were gonna walk forward. It whiffs, right?
Yeah.
And then from that same-ish space, you're able to do this and hit me, right? So like that's really good, right? And then it's -4. It's hard. I can't really punish this, right? So Really good stuff, right? So the usage of this in neutral for Elena is pretty big, I think. Like, seeing, I think it was like Brian F. I want to say I saw a video of his a little bit ago when Elena came out. Maybe when it came out, I don't remember exactly when, but usage of this button here in neutral, the control space, is really good. Even though it's a little bit slower, you know, you can throw it out from deceptively far away, and I'd get hit by it, right? So, right. So here's the first kind of like defensive decision, if you will, right? I did a driver's jab into a throw, basically forcing the, you know, strike throw mix here. Just remember that after the latest patch, Ken can't really back up anymore from here, right? So you can't really
Gotcha.
force a shimmy situation if you do a delay, if you do an immediate throw, right? So if I can't really shimmy you, I guess is what I'm trying to say, right? Because if you do an immediate throw or you press a button, it's going to tag me. Like I kind of get stuck here through the rest of this, right? So if you look at the situation here, so there's the jab, right? And if I go to me and I hold back, right? I'm holding back, but it takes a little bit longer for me to actually back up now, right? So the shimmy isn't really a thing there. So you can go for like an immediate, like basically Ken has to commit to an option, right? Either a follow-up
Gotcha.
jab or the immediate throw. So you can go for a mash there if you think I'm going to throw, or you can immediately tech. And if I try to shimmy, that's going to grab me, right? So just something to keep in mind. I don't use driver's jab all that often, I think, throughout our set. I'll see if I do or not. But just remember, like, try labbing it out when you get a chance. Like, driver's jab can sticks to you, so then you have different defensive options. You don't have to worry too much about shimmying in particular. If you do delay tech, though, and you delay it by long enough, he can shimmy you, though, eventually. But, again, he can't do it right away, right? So, anyway.
Okay.
Right, so take a throw here. This is totally okay, though. Like, taking a throw mid-screen from that, I had to spend a bar to do that. I'm down a bar here right now for a 12-inch damage throw. Not the end of the world, but positionally, this is tough now, right? You're in the corner. So, let's see how you deal with this. All right, so what happened here? Let's take a look. It looks like you might have been trying to reversal. Let's see.
I think I did. I just didn't get the forward input, so it came out as a quarter circle.
Yeah, so here,
There is a
CB
gap
dash.
between the forward and the. I don't know if that was too much of a gap.
Yeah,
I was just late.
yeah, I was just late on the press, right? So I'm going to clean up
One thing I've
execution-wise, right?
struggled with Elena is she's up before she's like visually up.
Yeah.
I just need to get used to her timing a little bit.
Yeah, the timing is not as like intuitive, I guess. Like everything with Elena's animations in general, I think, are a little bit unintuitive. Like I was saying on stream that
Yeah.
the like her neutral movement, it kind of moves back and forth, kind of throws me off a little bit. But just remember that if you are going to reversal, you can mash it, right? So if you start mashing
Gotcha.
reversal right here, you have a 5-frame window to hit it, right? So scratch wheel is DP, right?
Yeah.
So like if I start mashing DP here, oh, right, I can mash that pretty early. So even if I go back to here, right, so let's say that, so this is something I'll talk about now, is that you can commit to a defensive option kind of early in this situation here if you want. If you decide you're going to reversal, right, you can start mashing it pretty early, right? Like there's no downside to mashing, especially online. People, if it's an offline and you're afraid of people reading inputs, that's one thing, but online, right, your opponent's not sitting next to you, so you can just mash the crap out of this if you wanted to, right? So
Yeah.
if you've decided you're going to reversal, like especially after this situation right here, right, where I dash up and I'm in your face, you can mash this pretty early, right? So again, you have
Okay.
you have a 5-frame window to hit it, right? So I would fully expect that if you were trying to do this reversal DP, that the inputs would probably look something closer to this. Let me show you. So like from here, right? If you look at the inputs, you can see that I'm just like mashing the crap out of it, right? So I think that people should be doing that more, especially online, because of like things like, you know, rollback and ping and all that. But because you have
Gotcha.
a 5-frame window to hit the reversal, it makes it a little easier, right? So you can mash that, and I think it's okay to do so. Now, again, if you want to time it, and that's how that's the way you roll, and that's your game, that's totally fine. It's just that you don't want to miss that opportunity, right? Like you've had this
Yeah.
generous window to try to get the reversal out. You've committed to making that decision, so you know, make sure that it comes out, basically, right? Because if it doesn't come out in that scenario, you get hit again, right? And that sucks. So anyway, get hit here, right? So another Oki situation, right? Let's see what you do. delay tech, right? So it's totally fine, right? I don't think there's anything wrong with delay teching in that scenario here. So, you know, he made a defensive decision. Just have to remember that I went for throw here, right? So let's see what happens next. Okay, so more trying to get out of the corner using your buttons. That's good. All right, good hit there. Right, good confirm, right? So you can see that I'm having a hard time adjusting to the spacing that forward heavy punch allows you to take up, right? Like you're controlling a ton of space in front of you. So I'm having a hard time trying to get you to whiff that button or trying to get into counter poke it, right? So, right, and then that overhead comes in, hits me. Right, it's an overhead, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right, so... Alright, so I kind of back up a little bit, try to get more space back by zoning you a little bit to see if we can get you to jump or something. So let's see what happens next. Right, so again, good control with the forward heavy punch. Right, good kick confirm there. Right, and then I think that's plus, right? So let's see. Enhanced overhead.
Yeah, I just am... the enhanced version's plus. I think it's like +2. That one's -2.
This one here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe because it was Oki, it was... Yeah, it's -3.
Yeah, -3. So a little bit big. I mean, it's safe, though, right? It's not like I can do anything.
Yeah.
It's not like you can do it, but your turn is over, right? So the issue, though... And so...
Because I did mash there.
You did a 4-frame here. And okay, so let me talk about this, right? So pressing on your minus frames, right? The Abare or whatever you want to call it. I think it's fine to do, right? With the reservation that you need to be doing it with intention, right? So if you're just mindlessly mashing buttons when you're minus, that's a different story. But what happens a lot, and this is something that in this situation here, I'll preface this by saying that me as Ken as Juzzy, I don't actually know the frame data, right? I haven't studied up on the character or anything like that, so I'm not 100% sure what's plus, what's minus. Other than if I see the enhanced move, I know that's probably going to be plus, right? So this is a minus move, right? I don't know how minus it is. But I do know that I do sense that your turn is over, right? So the issue ends up being here is that I press a slower button, but I press it too late. So if you look at the frame meter here, right? So you're -3, right? But you can see that I didn't press timely, right? So I pressed now, and this is what counts as a counter hit, right? So if I actually mash this, right? This is my 7 frame here, right? You saw it, right? It forces a trade.
Yeah.
Right? And that's because, you know, you're -3, you press a 4 frame, I press my 7 frame, they come in the same frame, it's a trade, right? And then depending on the properties there, I may get a trade combo out of that, right? I'd have to check to see how plus or minus actually was. But what that means, though, if I had done that and I had mashed my medium in that scenario, right, and forced the trade, right, that's still kind of okay in the sense that you don't really lose too much. Unless it's a trade combo and you get killed for it, I guess that's one thing. But given the situation here, it's a medium, right? Like likely if I were to get anything more, it'd probably be some sort of like 5-frame move or something. So forcing the trade isn't the end of the world, I guess what I'm trying to say. And here's what happens a lot of times, especially as you go climb up in rank, right? I think in Diamond, you're probably going to see a lot of people mashing, so you probably don't want to do this too often. But as you climb up and you get into Master in those ranks, right, people tend to give a lot of respect, right? They want to play quote-unquote properly. They want to be like, oh, I'm minus, I can't press, or you're plus, so I shouldn't press, or whatever, right? Or it's my turn, so I should press my button, etc., right? So what can happen is you could be -3 in that scenario, right? And then the opponent, knowing that, you know, you're minus here, may take the turn back with a button, or they may try to do something else, right? They may try to do something greedy, right? So they may try to go for like a bigger button, or they may try to do something else, right? Like that isn't taking the turn back necessarily. So when you're minus like that, you can press your button there just to see what your opponent does, right? If you get counter hit because your opponent mashed a 4-frame, for example, this, right? Whoa. What's happening here? Why is this so slow? Alright. So this is the scenario here, right? After this. Right, so here, right, is the minus frame. Oop. So, take a look at that one more time, sorry. Capcom, please fix your replay thing. Alright, so right here, right, if I've decided to mash here, right, instead. right? I would get a counter hit that I could probably confirm into something else, right? So, well, it's like this, right? Right, something like that. If I decided
Yeah.
to mash my button there, right? It's a 4 frame. But you saw what actually happened was that I pressed the medium button instead, which is a little bit greedy on my part, right? Because I'm kind of taking advantage of your minus frames and taking advantage of the fact that you're minus and unlikely to press your button, right? Like I could have just
Yeah.
as easily pressed a heavy, right? Like a 10 frame button or something. And if you don't feel like pressing because you're quote unquote, because you're minus, right? Now I get to press my heavy button into you, especially if we can like a stand heavy punch or something like that. Now you're -2, which is, my turn is over effectively, but I chunk half your drive gauge, right? I also potentially put you in a slight mix-up situation depending on spacing and all that, right? So like your opponent may try to take advantage of your minus frames with a button that's bigger than the actual gap that the minus frames gives you, if that makes sense, right? So like
Yeah.
in those situations, you can abare and press a jab or a faster button to try to interrupt that thing happening, right? So like here, for example, if I did this instead and pressed a heavy, right? You see what happens there. If I try to get super greedy and press because I think you're not going to press because you're minus, now you are able to hit me with that jab. You can counter it, confirm your jabs into the spin, right, or links or whatever the move
Yeah.
is, right? So that's what I mean is that just because you're minus, it's still a decision you have to make, right? Now, of course, the safest thing is to block, right? Like, let your turn be over, reset back to neutral, allow your opponent to press their button potentially or whatever. But if you have a read on your opponent's neutral tendencies, maybe they are a little bit aggressive and try to press heavy buttons when you're some level of minus. Or maybe they're conservative and just kind of back off, or they take the turn back with a 4 frame or whatever. But these are the things you have to be paying attention to, in those interactions, right? And that's what justifies the mash, right? So like being able to press, your 4 framer when you're -2 is totally justified in a situation where your opponent always presses a heavy after you're minus, right? No matter how minus you are, they
Yeah.
press your heavy, right? So yeah, I think that was fine. All that said, I think that was fine, and I'm only highlighting that because you said you might be having some issues with like, some of the some of the decision making, neutral or otherwise, right? And this is kind of one of the things that goes into that, right? And I think you do a really good job actually throughout the rest of this round, keeping me at bay and checking me when I try to get a little greedy, right? Now again, here if I had pressed timely, it forces a trade, and maybe the situation plays out different. But here you just hit me, right? Fortunately, missed
Yeah.
the link. I think here.
I'm a little slow at hit confirm still.
Okay.
Working on it.
That's fine, right? That's just something that comes in time. Just remember you have a little bit more time than you think, but it is fast. It comes out quick, right? So if you see the
Yeah.
counter hit there is a little bit of time, right? A little bit of hit stop that helps, but with a light you have to kind of be ready, right? So anyway, that said, that would have been a good confirm there. He probably would have killed me or at least put me pretty close, but it's okay. So I know that this move is pretty good, right? This stand medium kick or whatever this is, right? So I can't press after the drive-rush one, and I definitely can't press after this one. But even though I'm -1 here, right, and it's the same situation I was talking about earlier, I can try to press here, right, even though I'm -1.
Yeah.
Because the person who's plus has the onus is on them to enforce those plus frames, right? So if you don't put something, frame tight behind this, right, or catch me trying to like actually frame trap me here, and you go for something greedy, I could catch you with my jab, right? So let's see what I do here, right? So I challenge, right? So I challenge in the -1 situation, and it turns out like you were actually a little bit
I was
late.
like a frame slow.
Yeah, frame late on that, right? Right, and then we end up trading here, right? So that would have counter hit me had you been on time there. But now in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, I can't really press in that situation because they're trying to keep it tight, right? The trade happened because it might have been late, and I know I'm minus, right? I pressed anyway. But that said, like now it's information that I'm taking into account, like, oh, okay, anytime that there's this kind of minus situation, they're probably going to enforce it with a frame trap here, right? So I have to be careful if I'm going to press. Like if I'm going to challenge here now, I should reversal, derev, or do something else that can absorb the hit, right? So
Yeah.
right? So plus frames, right? Because that's the enhanced version.
Yeah, it's +1 for the light kick version.
Right? And then enforced with the crouching medium punch behind it, right? So it's fine, right? It's a little bit spaced out, and that's okay though, right? Like you were able to press. I can't press anything on that +1 situation, right? The main thing though is that in a +1 situation, right? Typically, right, there's no there's a little bit of a mix up in that you can go for a throw, but it is beat by mash.
Yeah.
That said, the issue here is that you're too far for a throw, right? So if you want to try to throw me, you have to walk up, and I can just jab you, right? So that's why I kind of commit to just blocking. Right, and then good DI here, read on the stand heavy kick, and then I think I'm dead here, right? Right, good combo.
If I didn't drop this one.
Yeah, good combo.
Yeah, okay.
Good combo, right? So good read on the DI there, right? I had been going for a lot of heavies because I'm trying to outrange your forward heavy punch, right? So let's see how I adjusted this in the next round, if at all. Right, so this is fine, right? Go for parry here. I have been trying to enforce that plus frame with 5 frame button here, so go for parry is totally fine. It is your turn now, right? You take it back, totally fine. Unfortunately, you get jumped on, right? Is what it is. You were in the middle of that move, right? So not much you could have done.
Yeah, her sway.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Driver's throw, bane of everyone's existence here. Not what you can do. I think you just kind of have to take the throws most of the time. The best way to do it, mostly because I didn't press a button, right? So from this distance here, like Ken can kind of put the brakes on with a jab and then try to shimmy a little bit here, right? So you know.
Should I try like delay teching in situations like this?
You can. So it's a decision you have to make defensively if you think because basically, like, and this is generally speaking, characters use raw drive rush on knockdown to force an Oki situation, right? So they don't necessarily have to time it all that well, because 9 times out of 10 the button they're going to press out of this is going to be plus, right? So going for a delay tech here I think is okay. But what usually ends up happening, depending on the spacing, right? So I think from this space, delay tech's probably better. The issue ends up happening is if I do jabs or multiple jabs, and if you decide to delay tech through the string, if that makes sense, right? So delay teching the first jab here might make sense, right? Because I may just go for driver's throw. But if I go for jab, you'll block it, right? But then since Ken is plus, I can go for a second jab. I can go for another button, right? Since he's plus 3. I could go for a throw, I could go another button, and then shimmy after that, right? It's just that you have to decide if you're willing to delay tech through the entire string or not, or if you want to take the mix up or not, or what the case may be there, right? Delay teching this situation right here might be fine, right? But if I notice you doing that, I think I would change to like a drive rush button to force the block, and then I would try to get some sort of mix-up situation, right? Because if I go for a jab or like a stand heavy punch or something, I have plus frames, right? So I could try to blow up your delay tech with like a delay button or something else, right? So yeah, defensive decision you have to make depends on what I'm doing, and how, like, some of it is spacing dependent, right? Like if Ken's kind of further away and does that drive rush and kind of does a, you know, the jab break to stop and then backs up, or even just drive rush nothing and backs up, that could bait your delay tech depending on spacing, right? So you may have to lab that out a little bit. But that said, I think like delay tech in that scenario is not a bad option, at least initially. But then you do have to make a defensive decision after that, right? So you know, depending on the read you're making and what you're willing to be hit by. So, but that said, this is not the end of the world again, right? 12 punch of damage.
Yeah.
I had spent a bar for it, right? Not the end of the world. I think you don't back roll here. Let's see.
I don't know the timing for back rolls on some stuff, but
Yeah,
I think I just didn't here.
Yeah, there's no timing. I think you just hold it, right? Hold the 2 buttons down.
You can hold it?
Yeah, if you hold it through the whole knockdown sequence, right? You can hold it the whole time, and Elena, as soon as she gets up, will roll back, right? You don't have to time it at all.
I did not actually know that. I thought you had to time it.
Yeah, no, not for back rolling. At least not in this game. You don't have to time anything. Just as soon as you get knocked down, if you want to roll back, just hold down 2 buttons. Any 2 buttons, right? Me personally, I use 2 punches, but I know people use like parry, the whole throw, the whole DI, whatever you want to do.
I have parry on my thumb, so
you can do that,
just
right?
do that.
And then you can definitely let, as soon as Elena does the actual back roll motion, you can let go and it's totally fine, right?
Yeah.
And same thing for D-Rev, right? So if you want to D-Rev, you can just hold DI and forward through the whole wake up animation, and she'll automatically do the D-Rev on wake up, right? So what you can do,
I underutilize the hell out of that.
it's an option that you have for sure, but since Elena has an EXDP, it's kind of like, you know, how often should you be D-Revving versus EXDP, because it beats the same things, right? And the reward is slightly better on the wake up DP, right? You're just kind of hedging, right? Because wake up DP and it gets blocked, you're gonna eat a full punish, right? Like full hard punish. Whereas blocked derev is usually a 6-frame punish, right? So it's
Yeah.
typically a little bit smaller on the damage scaling overall. But it also makes a lot of sense when your opponent is burned out, right? So if your opponent is burned out and they manage to knock you down, you can derev them, and if they block it, you're only -2, right? So you can't actually be punished for doing that. You spend 2 bars to end their pressure potentially, or if they bait it, right, somehow and block it, it's their turn, but you're not going to get punished for it, right? You still have a chance to defend the mix-up from there, right? So something to keep in mind. I think derev is a good option, or it can be. Again, it's just you have to make a decision if you want to spend 2 bars or not to end pressure, right?
Yeah.
Wake up jab is pretty good here, right? So why does this work, right? Normally we tell people not to mash on wake up, but why does this work in this situation here, right? Let's take a look.
The spacing, right?
100%, right? So I dash up, and I try to do like and I'm a little bit late here on my jab, right? So you wake up jab here. If I had gone for like a wake up or a delay button here of some sort, I may end up blocking this, but I'm actually just late, right? So
Yeah.
if I was frame tied on this would have frame trapped you, right? So if I would actually pressed here correctly. Right. Right, so that should actually trade. Right. So if I was on top of it, right? Something like that could happen.
Yeah.
That said, right? Again, if you're going to wake up buttons, right? In that scenario right there, after Ken does the 4 dash, he's +1. So what you're telling your opponent if you're mashing your jab is that you think I'm going to throw you, right? Because that strike mix is no longer real, right? If it's +2, different story, right? You have to respect it. But a +1 situation, right? Your mash will beat my dash up throw, right? So if you are going to mash, right? Again, it has to be typically mashing and like wake up buttons, that type of thing. Typically does have to be a specific response to something that's happening, right? So like if you are reading that your opponent will shimmy, right? Your opponent will go for like throws in like 0 or +1 situations, right? Or does something that would be beat by mash, then it's totally fine to go for that, right? I think it's totally acceptable, right? Because that's the correct defensive option. But it is a risk, right? Because it does lose to all of the common things that people do, right? So like, again, in this case, it's +1, so it's a little different. But if I did my meaty timely, right, it would have beaten you, right? You got frame trapped. If I had done something else, basically meaty, I think is probably the biggest thing that will beat it, right? If I had done a delay button or something like that, I would end up blocking potentially, right, depending on how delayed and what I'm doing. But like again, like you're mashing because you think I'm going to do something that loses to mash, right? Not just mindlessly doing it. Then I think it's totally fine, right? There's no reason not to apply the defensive option you think is going to work, right? You just have to remember that the opponent is going to be doing something on Oki potentially, and you have to kind of get a sense of like what they want to do and what they like to do, right? A lot of times it's just adjustments, right? So if I'm doing a lot of meaties, right, you start blocking more, trying to go for parries potentially, right? If I start throwing you more, you try to go for delayed text, right, or jumps or something else that beats throw, backdashes potentially. And if I start shimmying you, then you can start doing wake up buttons, right? Wake up lows, wake up options, try to beat the shimmy, right? And then it rotates again, right? Now I have to do meaties again to stop you from mashing, right? So it's like that sort of defensive option rotation is how the game ends up being played for Oki, right? The secret sauce, if you will, is making educated guesses on what you think your opponent's going to do next, right? Like, oh, what do you think they will do here? All right, let me try to beat that option, right? Or select an option that beats that option plus other things if I can, right? So, but otherwise, I think you did a good job here overall, though, right? I think there was a lot of situations where you made a decision that you wanted to make, right? And it worked out, right? So like here, was this correct? Probably not, but it worked out, right? So I can't say it's incorrect, right? It worked. So, you know, it's totally fine. But why it worked was mostly because of this right here. I missed it, right? So relying on your opponent to make mistakes can be kind of tough, right? But if it works, it works, right? So, right? The light conversion here, right? A little bit short here. I parry, not knowing that it's going to whiff, right? And then both of us kind of stare at each other. Right, so what happened here? How'd you get hit? Let's check this.
I think I might have been going for... I just hit parry and was just like off on it, I think.
Let's see. I think you might have went for walk-up throw. So after this...
Oh, there, yeah. I did go for walk-up throw.
Yep. All right, so very common defensive option is the delay button, delay jab here, right? So
Yeah.
I do this a lot in situations where your opponent does a button, right? So you just did a button here that I blocked, right? And
Yeah.
you're kind of far for a throw, right? You have to walk up to
Yeah.
throw
Yeah.
me,
Yeah.
right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a delay jab, right? So this covers a couple different options, right? So if you walk up throw, I'm going to hit you, right? Like you can see here. Right?
Yeah.
If you continue your string, I'm going to block it, right? Because if you do an actual light string from there, the chain cancel will come out and my button will be pressed while I'm blocking, right? So it's going to stop that from
Yeah.
doing anything. And if you try to shimmy me, depending on spacing here, but if you try to shimmy me, I might catch you walking back, right? So like if you try to back up, that jab is just gonna, I'm gonna hit you, right? You're gonna block it because you're walking back, but then the pressures, the mix-up sequence is now over, right? Like you can't really get
Yeah.
more of a mix-up from there, right? So I do this option a good amount to you, I think here. So recognition of what I'm doing here would be good, right? So if you can see that,
Yeah.
and notice you go, oh man, I'm going for a throw, I keep getting hit, right? Like that's a problem. Then you're like, oh, okay, I gotta do something else to beat that, right? So the counter to this typically is to leave a gap between the crouching light punch and usually a medium button, right? So I'm not sure
Yeah.
what Elena's looks like, but typically for like Ken, for example, if I wanted to do that, I would do a crouching light punch, which leaves me -1, into a crouching medium punch, right? So I'd be -1, I'd hit a 6-frame medium, right? But the gap that's listed there, your button, if you're doing a delay button, you're gonna press it in that gap, and then my medium button will counter hit you, right? It'll hit the startup of your delay button, right? So that's typically how you would
Yeah.
beat this particular option, right? Alternatively, if I'm doing it a lot, like on wake up, you can just throw me, right? So if I'm trying to do delay button on your Oki, obviously if I'm blocking, right, the meaty strike isn't going to work, but you can throw me, right? Because I can't delay button and delay tech at the same time, right? I have to commit to one of those options.
Yeah.
So you can just do that too. But that's more of the wake up situation, right? So this sort of neutral interaction with like the jabs and stuff, usually you end up beating that with like intentional gap, right? Stagger pressure, right? So.
Yeah. I think I need to get used to just like blocking back sometimes too.
Yeah, I think
Like
in those scenarios,
-1, just leave it.
yeah. I think it's something people can do more of, right? Or you can just finish out the string, right? So if you just finish
Yeah.
out the light string there instead of going for walk up, it'll space me, right? It'll space out to where it can't really press anymore. Your turn's over, right? But
Yeah.
and you can stand your ground there and see what I do next. But it's a little bit, you can just do that too. There's nothing wrong with resetting back to neutral in a lot of cases. So. Right, so here I think you wake up for the button, and this time I'm on top of it, right?
Yeah.
So this time I made sure I mashed it early enough. And this is directly in response to the last time I did this, right? So last time I did this, you mashed, right? So I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure that if they mash again, I'm going to beat it, right? Okay, so good challenge here. I went for throw. Right, so I don't know the frame data there. I think you were -1, so I didn't press. So I just kind of waited out. A good throw. And so here, I think my challenge works because you try to press.
I did try to press, and I was a little late, I think.
Yeah, actually, you were on time. I was late, but I was only late by a frame.
Gotcha.
Right, so, but I'm challenging with a jab here, right? So, because I think last time, similar situation, I had noticed that my crouching medium punch or crouching medium kick got stuffed, right? But it was stuff that they had counter hit, right? So I'm thinking that this is, in my head, I don't actually know it, right? I don't now, obviously, but in my head, I'm thinking, okay, that's probably minus, right? And I got hit because I pressed a bigger button in front of that, right? So again, I don't know how minus it was, but I got hit, right? So, and I didn't see the enhancement, so I'm like, okay, it's probably minus, so let's try this. In this case, I was actually timely, right? And then I do a level 2 and probably could have done level 1, right? But you can see how that the subtle plus minus situations, right? The decisions that go into each of those interactions can change drastically, right? So even though you're plus, even though you're minus, right? You still have to make it read on your opponent to some extent on what to do, right? Now, this is different, right? For someone in Diamond, generally speaking, they may not be thinking about that in particular, like the mind game that goes into plus minus frames like that. Usually, and I'm generalizing a little bit, but usually it's just about being plus minus, right? So Alternatively, they could just be mashing, right? Like, I'm gonna mash every interaction, I don't care, right? That happens.
Yeah.
So when you run into people like that, you have to kind of pay attention. Again, like, even though you may run into people like that, or running into people like me, like, you have to pay attention to your opponent's reaction to an option
Yeah.
in plus and minus situations, right? So, but so far though, what I'm seeing is you're doing a really good job with Elena's neutral, right? So you're able to keep me out effectively, right? The reason I won in the last game was because I was able to open you up in a couple of situations, right? And then eventually at
Yeah.
the end, it was like, okay, I pressed the right button at the right time, got the counter hit here, right? Because I forced it and then supered, right? So. All right, so very common here. Let's take a look what happened. You try to back up out of pressure after you block something, and I just tagged with a low, right?
Yeah.
So very common, right? I actually hit you the same frame you stopped blocking, which is crazy. But if you think about it, like, why is this working, right? A lot of times, and this is a habit a lot of players have, is that as soon as an interaction happens, like block string, right? Something's blocked, or you get knocked down, or whatever, right? A lot of times that leaves your opponent, you and your opponent, kind of too close for comfort, right? Like, you're like, oh man, I got to back up because I don't want to get hit by the next thing coming, right? So a lot of players will just back up, try to back up out of pressure or back up after the event occurs, right? So me being me, I just kind of get a sense of when you want to move, and I just press my button, right? Like, this could have just as easily been blocked, right? I'm actually kind of lucky in that it hits you the frame you decide to back up. But you can see I delay it, right? I'm not exactly pressing right away, right?
Yeah.
So after this is blocked, right? Here's the recovery. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, right? Wait 10 to 13, 10, 11 frames before I press, right? So typically this is, in my head, a sense of like how long it's going to be before someone will start moving, right? So I'm just kind of guessing at that timing, but I'm trying to get a read on your movement, right? And that's why you're getting hit. So if you see your opponent doing this to you a lot, or you find yourself getting hit a lot by these lows, right? Pay attention to how you're moving at the end of an event or some sort of interaction, right? So I think I tag you with this more than once, but we'll see. But again, the idea here is that I'm getting a sense of your movement, right? But at the same token, you do the same thing to me, right? We're actually 0 here. If you look, frame data wise, neither of us have advantage, right? It's actually purely neutral in this scenario, right? The difference is I'm willing to press, and you wanted to back up, right? So if you had decided to press a button here, try to stuff what I'm doing, or just wait, right? Like, if you had waited and blocked the drive rush cancel, like I do a crouching medium kick drive rush here, right? I'm already buffering the drive rush, right? So if you block that crouching medium kick and the drive rush, you have options now, right? You can OSDP me, you can deal with the mix-up, right? Maybe I do a jab, maybe go for delay tech, maybe some other thing can happen. But dealing with the mix-up, I think, is better than getting hit, right? Because at least you have a chance, right? And I have to spend 3 bars to do it, right? For the privilege of a throw mix-up, right? Which is insanely bad spending wise, right? Like resource wise, it's a huge investment for very little reward. But that's the breaks, right? Like that's why I try to go for that, and I'm investing a lot to try to get that, right? And if I don't, and I try to make the most of the situation, maybe I get a throw, but it's not worth it, right? Overall, resource wise. So again, it's just something you have to keep in mind. Like if you go through your own replays and you're like, oh man, why did I lose here? And you're looking at this kind of like how we are, where you're looking for hits and situations where you make decisions. You can take a look at how often you back up. And I guarantee for a lot of people when they do that the first time, like they come here and play me, or we talk about it, like they don't realize how often they're backing up, right?
Yeah.
Like they play me, and like you probably see on Discord all the time how I get hit by a million crouching medium kicks whenever we play Juzzy, right? And this is what's happening, is that I'm making a read on your movement, right? So, all right, okay, scenario here. I screwed up, but it's okay, and I get hit, right? So you mashed again, and again, like if you're making a decision where I'm gonna beat a walk-up throw, or I'm gonna beat like a shimmy of some kind, I think it's fine, right? I think it's fine. I actually missed my Oki here. If I had gone for the correct Oki and gotten it, right, and done the overhead here, it would have beat your mash, right? So I'm trying to keep these knockdowns like meaty and tight, right? Like make sure that there's no gaps or anything where I can get hit. I dropped it here. But you can see that the adjustment that I made in your Oki is to start going for more meaties, right? Like try to discourage you from mashing a wake up. Doesn't work here, but that's the idea. All right, good. All right, so I go back to zoning here to try to get you to jump or press something, right? using it as a cover for my run. Right, challenge again. Tried. That was nice. I was fully expecting another stand medium kick here. I wasn't ready for the overhead.
I need to do the overhead like immediately more often, I think, too.
I think it's a good
Like,
way to mix me up.
ever cancel overhead.
Yeah, it's a good way to mix up, especially if you have access to an overhead like that. If you do the drive, can you drive rush that? You can, right?
Yeah, you could. So the reason I do the medium kick, the standing medium, is there's no gap.
Ah, okay, true block string. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a true block string. So it is like a little bit riskier to go for the overhead, but if they're expecting the block string, then
yeah, it's something that if you have access to drive rush overhead, it's good, right? Because if you land that overhead, you're plus enough, I'm assuming, to continue a combo, right? So
yeah.
So anyway, let's see what happens here. Why'd you get hit here, right? So I did a jump, and you went for parry immediately, right? So anti-air is obviously very good. If you can do it, you should.
I
right?
can't crosscut at this point. I need to learn it.
Totally fine, right? Something to work on. If Elena has a different way to deal with that, you can. Another way you can deal with it is by walking forward, right? So if you walk past me here, now again, this is a little different because I go for a cross-up button.
Yeah.
Right, so if you recognize this right here, and I'm gonna, right? So you see how my button whiffed, right? So from this distance here, right? My button whiffs, right? So if you can, from that range, like as soon as you recognize the jump, if you can't crosscut, something you can do is try walking under, right? This works great for characters that don't have a way to change their jump arc. Like, yeah.
Elena's slide's actually pretty good there too, I think.
Oh, really? Okay. Like to get out of the way?
It's down forward heavy kick.
Okay.
Yeah, you could just get out of the way if they jump over you.
Yeah,
I've done
that's
that.
an option. I'm assuming. I haven't tried that. I haven't seen it, but
yeah,
if that is an option to try to move out of the way, it's a good one too, right? Again, it works really well against characters that can't change their jump arc, right? So from this range, though, it's very close, right? So obviously, it's going for a cross up here. So if you recognize the jump and walk forward, you can cause me to whiff if I use a cross up button that doesn't reach, right? So
yeah.
now, of course, if you're against like a Kim or something that can just elbow drop you from right here, you may be able to get under, right? But that's more of a like case by case space dependent thing. So if you're having difficulty with cross ups, right, you can't do the crosscut DP. Going for walking under or something like that, try to induce a whiff on the button could be an option too, right? Because if I whiff a button and land, you can I'm in punish counter state now, right? Like I'm in recovery, so you could, if I whiff it, potentially get a combo out of that. So.
Yeah, I'll learn crosscuts too. I came from Guile and he cheats.
Yeah, the auto crosscut. Just let me just hold, press up, right? Let me wait long enough, press up. Yeah. So anyway, you take a throw here, you go for parry, which is I think a reasonable response here, right? A lot of people with the plus frames after the jump in will go for another button here. I think it's reasonable. Now that I thrown you though, now you have to pay attention to that, right? But ideally, you don't deal with that mix up at all because you anti-air me, right? So go for throw again. Now here's something interesting, right? You asked if delay taking makes sense here, right? And I'd say that actually, no, it doesn't quite make sense. And the reason for that is because a shimmy will kill you, right? So full resources here, if I shimmy you, you're dead, right? So you have to make a defensive decision on if you want to take the throw or not here. So taking the throw, you can take one more probably, right? 2 throws here before you actually need to tech, right? So you don't necessarily have to do any defensive decision making here, right? You can just block, decide you're gonna take a throw, and be ready if I shimmy, right? Like go for wake up button or something else, right? Because even if you get a counter hit throw, no big deal, right? Like it's whatever. But if that button happens to catch me moving, then great, your pressure's over, right? So, so I actually said, oh, reversal here, and then he did it, right? So, again, I don't mind this decision overall, right? Of course you have to, right? You're dead if I do something that. Well, let's take it back. You can take another throw.
I can take a throw.
Yeah, you can take a throw, right? But then if you take the throw, now you're in that situation where you do have to do reversal, right? So, that all said, I think it's totally fine to reversal there, honestly, right? Like I would, to be honest with you, right? Bet it all on black here. That said, though, the one change in that decision I would make, though, is if I was going to reversal in that scenario, I would have level 3, right? So, if you had level 3 there, you kill me, right? Like, I'm dead if you do that. So
makes sense.
Yeah. So something I'll say is that if you're gonna reversal in that scenario, right? You're betting it all on black. reversal in a manner that will win the game, right? So there's no reason for you to
Yeah.
EXTP there when you have access to level 3, right? So, that would be the only. I mean, the result doesn't change. You still get blocked and baited, and I still kill you from that. But the main difference is that had you been correct, you win the game, right? Because if you're correct here, right? Let's say like you do the EXTP,
Yeah.
like I don't die, right? Ken is not going to die from this, right?
That makes sense.
So, right? So, level 3 instead definitely kills me, right? So, something decision making wise, like a little optimization there, that'll actually win you game. Because again, if you're gonna bet at all, make sure that if you win the gamble, you're gonna win the game in that scenario. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, cool, man. So that said, let me bring up another replay, the one that you sent me. Let's take a look here. So while I'm bringing this up, any questions, comments so far? Anything not making sense or making a lot of sense? What do you think?
No, yeah. I mean, this is making sense. I'm kind of also reminded. You were teaching me about delayed mediums, and I noticed that you still do that a lot too.
Yeah, I do that a lot against folks that I'm not sure if they're going to reverse or not, right? So when
Yeah.
you do delay options, right, it beats like when I do a delay button on offense, right? I walk up and delay button, right? It'll beat you going for like a reversal, right? So like if you go for a reversal, I'll block it. If you go for a delay tech, depending on the timing and all that, I may actually hit you out of that, counter hit you, right? If it depending on what that is.
Yeah.
If you just continue blocking, I'll press my button. It's not meaty, but like since you didn't do anything, I'll be able to press my button, right? So, again,
Makes sense.
it's a hedge against reversal happy opponents, right? If I'm not sure if you're gonna reversal or not, I'm gonna do that instead because it's slightly safer, right? Like best case
Yeah.
scenario, I maintain pressure. Maybe I catch you doing something, right? Because if you just continue blocking or if you mash, right, in that scenario, it's actually gonna beat me, right? Because I delay a medium or something like that, or delay my light, and your mashed button will come out before my delay button comes out, right? But
Yeah.
it is a risk on your part because if you mash and I go for a meaty instead, you're gonna get hit, right? So that's the decision making process, right? So anyway, but yeah, that is something you have to keep in mind. Like as you climb up in rank, more people will be doing sort of these options that cover multiple defensive options because you don't know, right? I don't know if this guy's gonna reversal or not. I don't know if this guy's gonna wake up
Yeah.
with a thing or not. So I try to cover options as best I can, right? So like, if I do a delay button, I'm gonna beat these three things, but I'm gonna lose to this other thing, right? So the opponent has to be aware of the OS that I'm doing in order for them to apply the correct counter, right? And if they're not aware of it, then I can just do that all day for free. They'll reversal me, I'll block it, right? They'll try to they'll try to do other stuff, and it never works, and that's why.
Yeah.
Right? So, all right, cool. So against Akuma here, rank match. Take a look. Oh, Boski, if you're still there, thanks for the follow. Appreciate it.
I think I played this person a few times.
Okay.
And so I did actually beat them, I think, more overall, but this was one of my losses.
Okay, let's take a look. All right, good. Oh, no follow up. That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
It's okay, but good check, right? So crouch media punch check. Oh no, it's crouching light. So checking drive rush is important, and doing it if you can is really good. I would say that if you want to whiff punish, definitely use like a medium button here, right? So crouching.
I think her standing medium kick, even though it's stubby, is actually really good because it's just so active.
Yeah, you do something like this. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not in that scenario. Like this scenario, I think you probably have to
Yeah.
do this, right?
But in the first one, I think
Yeah,
you could consider it.
like that, right? So
Yeah.
Anyway, still
But
okay.
yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, still okay though. Like, I know that we're talking about like, oh, this could have been done better, but like in the grand scheme of things, you won the interaction, right? Yeah, you get 400 damages or whatever, but you won, right? You won this interaction, so that's positive, right?
Yeah.
Roll doesn't quite work there, unfortunately. Take the hit.
Yeah, I think generally you just shouldn't try to roll fireballs, but
Yeah,
I
probably
like
not.
to roll.
It's fun, right? And slide's probably a little better in that scenario, but it's okay. All right, so here going for the overhead, right? You went for perfect parry attempt. I'm assuming this is fine.
Yeah.
And then you're able to they went for like a throw or something, and you're able to mash out of this, right? And I think it's okay. So that is something I think you probably want to notice more in your gameplay, is that you do tend to mash the light.
Yeah.
So again, if you're doing it as a specific response to something, totally fine. Try not to default to it too often though. So
Yeah.
good slide. All right, meaty jabs like that. That was good, right? So that's kind of Elena. I feel like in a nutshell is you block something and you have to now deal with this high-low mix, right? So
Yeah.
it's good stuff, right? So now look at how well this round has been played from you, right? So you've spent a little bit of drive. You've gotten some good damage, decent damage off of those interactions where, you know, they block something, but you're able to open them up. And they're closer to the corner now, right? So this is, so far, been pretty good. Right, so my situation, you press immediately. This is good. All right, so take a look at what happened here, right? And I don't know if you've noticed it, but it looks like the Akuma likes to mash too, right? So it's counter hit here, right? So keep that in mind, right, through the set. See if there's other opportunities where they mash. Let's find out. You missed the, I think this is a one frame. You missed it by a frame here.
Yeah.
Right, so +7. Let's see, did you miss it? Yeah, you missed it by a frame.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. That's okay. Is what it is. But now you know, right? I mean, you know that it's supposed to link, so that's fine. All right, no anti-air, unfortunately. Ooh, is this on time? Nice.
And then I didn't do the target combo.
Yeah, the
but
no target combo confirm. It's okay. Like, you know, I'm just focused
that's
on
what I'm working on so much.
Yeah, the mechanical stuff, you know, the execution and stuff, you can grind that out, right? I'm not too concerned about that.
Yeah.
You drop something here, you drop something there, you're aware of it. Like, I can't do that for you, right? So,
Yeah.
But the decisions you're making in this game, though, are pretty good so far, right? So you are doing all the right things, you are maintaining the right spacing, and you're pressing when it's appropriate, right? So this Akuma is not respecting the plus minus frame game, right? So you're taking your turn back aggressively and with, you know, conservative options, but you are taking your turn back, and the Akuma is not respecting that, right? So if they're mashing on every interaction, you know, especially after they're minus, you can blow them up all day for this, right? Like every interaction you've had has been like a small kind of like 1500 combo, but all these combos are coming from situations where you're able to open them up because they didn't do something that they're quote unquote supposed to do. They mashed when they're minus, they mashed in situations where they shouldn't have, got frame trapped, right? And that's good.
Yeah.
This is a good thing, right? Could these conversions be bigger? Maybe, but a lot of them are light starters, right? So it's okay to take a light damage, you know, combo for 1500, 1600. If especially if it scores a knockdown, gives you an Oki situation, right? So, right, so like right there, right, you could have gone for a meaty, maybe not meaty, but you could have gone for like an overhead or something like that. One of the other moves out of the roll that's plus, right? You could have forced the plus frames, right? So instead, you kind of elect to do this, which is, I'm assuming, a reversal bait, right? So
I think it was a reversal bait.
yeah. Because after this, right? So if they decide to EXDP you here, right, you're already recovered, right? So if they
that's why.
Yeah. Total set makes total sense to me, right? I have zero issue with that decision, right? Like, let's take a look at the meter, right? Full meter here, almost dead. You have a ton of life. It's okay. E to EX reversal here. It's not the end of the world necessarily, but you sense that the Sukuma wants the reversal, right? So you make that decision. That's fine, right? You were wrong, but it's okay. You know what I mean? Like, the worst case scenario here, you block this. Now you have to do a mix up, right? So unfortunately, you challenge.
Looks like I pressed with a medium.
Yeah.
Probably not ideal.
Not necessarily, yeah. This one's tough. If you are gonna press something here, like if you're gonna challenge or something, it should be reversal, right? So EXTP if you can.
That makes sense.
And if you are gonna challenge in that situation with not a reversal, then a 4-framer probably makes more sense, right? So, like for example, if the opponent, and I was looking at this earlier, if you are doing DPOS a lot here, right? So like, I do a drive rush cancel, and my opponent is doing like a DPOS behind that, right? So they're blowing up my gap here, especially because he does a medium pun, right? So look here. So if my opponent is doing that, like they're going for that, then I might actually do this, right? Like I might actually go for like a drive rush block or something like that, right? I mean, it has to be a medium button or a heavy button, I think, but I could go for like drive rush into nothing here to try to bait the OSDP. Now, the DP that comes out. Now again, with a medium here, I think there's going to be a gap no matter what. But I could go for like a drive rush block, and then that's when that jab would work pretty well, right? So now all of a sudden they spent 3 bars, and now you're the one applying pressure, right? So again, I don't like to say there are like completely right and completely wrong decisions. It's usually just like varying degrees of correct, right?
Yeah.
And in this case, the media button is probably not as correct, right? An option here. You take this damage here. Let me guess. Demon Flip? Man. Okay, so Demon
Yeah.
Flip here coming in. I think you can actually reversal here. Or sorry,
Yeah.
anti-flip.
I think I could.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. There's a ton of time here.
Yeah.
Right, so I didn't even do it, and it actually worked. Oh yeah, because it's right. It's a kick, right? So you may
Yeah.
have to mash it depending because the the wake up the wake up window can be kind of tight, especially all of the demon flip coming down. You have to hit that DP. But
Yeah. When you mash it, do you mash just the attack input, or do you do the motion too?
so I'm on leverless. So I actually let me see if I can show you what it looks like when I mash.
Because I'm also on leverless.
Yeah. So if you look at my inputs here.
Yeah. You just do that. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm mashing the as soon as I press the forward, I basically hold forward and I'm pressing down. Like
Yeah.
I'm pressing down,
Okay.
letting go, and then pressing the attack buttons on when I press down, right? Because that's a diagonal, right? So, I take it back. Sorry, it's hold on. Let me look at this one second. Hold on. Oh yeah, okay, that is what I'm doing. So I'm holding forward or towards, and I'm mashing down and the two kick buttons or the two buttons, right? So
Yeah.
punch, kick, whatever it is, right? So I have a macro for it on mine. So for me, two kicks is bound to a button on my leverless here. But that's how I end up mashing it. Is typically that, right? And you can definitely mash that safely for OD, especially because if you mash OD, you're not gonna get super, right? So I don't know what super
Yeah.
the inputs for Elena super is. I want to say it's quarter circle forward twice, but if you do the OD, you won't get super out of that, right? And also,
She also doesn't have a quarter circle. Oh no,
oh,
she does.
she does, right? Is it on kick or
Yeah,
punch?
yeah, it's on kick. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, doing two buttons will ensure that you get the OD and not the super, right? Because if you mash the other
Gotcha.
way, it'll give you super, right? If you try to mash like a light punch here,
That
but it
makes
also
sense.
depends on your meter, right? So if I have no meter, right, you can do whatever you want, right? You're not going to get
Yeah.
super, right? So
Unfortunately, it's her level one on
oh
the.
really? Okay, then you have to be careful,
Yeah.
right? So you kind of have to time
Yeah.
it, right? So with that said, if you are going to mash the ODDP, like the EXDP, then that's how I do it, right? So
That makes sense.
anyway, okay, so it goes for low here. Do you get hit? Yeah, you do. Okay.
Yeah. And then
Oh, that's
neutral jump
unfortunate.
into. I hate that
Yeah,
when that happens.
that sucks. Oh, he dropped it. Okay, so let's see.
Yeah, and I think I get him back here, and then he wins the next two. Oh,
Oh no! Didn't finish. Wait, now this is scary now, right? Like
yeah.
slide. Okay, so yeah,
There
that's
I
fine. Yeah,
went for hit, and then any special move.
yeah. So kind of scary, right? Because if the Akuma reversals you there, it can be a problem. You can't go for a special move chip out though, and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
If you have like a so from that scenario, right? So I'll just talk about it a little bit. If you have from that scenario a true block string into special move, then that's checkmate, right? Because
Gotcha.
they can't super through that, right? So pay attention to when you have. Well, I mean, this is more of an advanced topic, right? It's not a huge deal right now, but I'll bring it up here because it's relevant. Is that when you have someone in burnout and they're one hit away from dying, right? Check your move set and see if there's any true block strings into special moves, right?
Okay.
So because if you do that, right, or if you did like a drive rush button into DI, for example, right, they can't do anything, right? Even if they mash super, it's checkmate, right? They can't as
Yeah.
long as it's true block string. So you have to take a look at the frame data, make sure that it is actual. There's no block, there's no gap there, but that is a scenario to think about, right? Because like that's really scary, right? If you do something
Yeah.
there and Akuma mashes level 1 and kills you, right? That's not good, right? So take a look at that. So anyway. All right, so I said the sense that you want to play a little further away, mostly because this guy likes to do neutral skip stuff, right? So like from here, right? Like Elena can't win
Yeah.
from this distance, right? But you are trying to react to stuff like demon flip, right? If they jump at you, if they do something like something else to try to skip neutral here, you'd be able to check it,
Yeah.
right? Draw drive rush, whatever. So that's what I'm sensing here. But then the Akuma doesn't really do any of those things, right? He jumps once you get closer, but he's not really throwing fireball. He's not zoning you, right? So in that scenario, I think it's better to take up the space for yourself, right? And you actually do it here, right? So the space is now yours, right? You get the knockdown here, and now space is yours, right? Because you're doing a good job of controlling that space, right? So there's no reason to give Akuma that much, like, that wide a berth, if you will, right? So
Yeah.
Alright, so a lot of meaty jabs. I like it, right? This is good. Alright, good attempt at a frame trap here and force the plus frames, get +1 situation. Nice, right? So you're able to open them up, right? They pressed when they weren't supposed to. We got a counter hit here. Ooh. No confirm from him either, though. That's air. But you can see what the Kuma wants to do is back up far enough away so that he can do some shenanigans to get around, right?
Yeah.
So if you walk up, you kind of nullify Demon Flip, right? Because he needs space to actually execute the Demon Flip, right? So if you're too close and he tries to Demon Flip you, you can just hit him out of the air, right? You can DP him or do whatever, right? If he teleports, you can check it with a teleport slow, and you can check it with like a jab or something. And Drive Rush you can also check, right? So if you're standing like right where this lamp thing is, I guess the lamp for the boat, right? If you're standing here,
yeah,
maybe a little bit behind it, right? Like maybe here, you'd be able to check all Akuma's options, right? You have to deal with fireballs, and that's Akuma life, right? But Demon Flip here is easily anti-airable, right? You can react to that. Raw Drive Rush, you can check it with Elena's longer buttons, right? Teleport can also get checked, right? So the neutral skips that Akuma could do here, you can check from that distance, right? From here, it's a little harder, right? Like he can Demon Flip, and you probably get away with the anti-air there. He probably won't teleport from this distance, though, because he's not going to reach you, right? So now you're just kind of playing into, oh, now Akuma can throw fireballs, right? That was actually good on his part, the Drive Rush DP. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like it, right? I think it's a good decision there. The Akuma, the one knockdown I saw, I think went for a meaty, so this is totally fine. Go for Berry. Right. Take a throw, totally fine. Alright, now this is tough now, right? So you have to make a decision to jump or do something else because you're going to eat fireballs the rest of the time you're standing in this corner, right? So let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So you try to fight your way out.
For a little slow.
Yeah, you want to try to fight your way out, and then the Akuma just walks up, right? So
yeah,
let's take a look at this interaction in sequence. Okay. Right, so you walk into the space, he presses his button, you press yours, and you get counter hit, right? So what happened, right? Why did that happen? The space, yeah, it's two things, right? Spacing plus button speed, right? So I think you're about to
my
say
medium,
that, right?
I think hits there.
Yeah. So let's take a look, right? So if you wanted to use your forward heavy punch, right, or that forward heavy punch button, that's what you wanted to use. So let's say that that's the button you elected to press now, right? I like how Akuma's stuck low in green. I don't know why he's okay. It looked like he was about the driver. What's going on here? But if you look, so right after this, right here is where you want to press that button, right? Because remember, Elena's forward heavy punch goes pretty far, and the Akuma's walking forward here, right? So you would press that forward heavy punch button typically to try to keep people out at range, right? So you have to kind of take into account walk speeds and all that, but realistically speaking, the Akuma is walking into your range now, right? So if you want to press the button now, would have been the time to press it, right? Now, obviously, you hesitate here because you're not quite sure, I think, if that's going to reach or not. But let's take a look, right? So right here, let's see, right after you block this, right about here, I think. So here is about when I think, in my opinion, you would recognize that you're walking forward, and now you're going to take a risk to press that button, right? You might get whiff punished, you might not, but you're taking a risk by pressing the button. So let's see what happens here, right? So I'm just going to press and see what happens. Right? Blocked. But it didn't whiff, right? So now, again, the texture of the whole situation might change depending on what the Akuma does in that scenario here. But the idea is that once your opponent walked into that space where you could press the button, if you had pressed it, it stops his pressure completely, right? Like he blocks something, even though he's in +4, he can't really punish you. And now the situation is kind of back to neutral, if you will, right? He prevented that scenario of him walking up, hitting you from happening. Now you can try to take up space. Now you can try to move forward, maybe jump or do something else. But the idea is that he walked into a space where you can press your button. And if he had pressed it, it now discourages him, ideally, from doing that again, right? But what actually ended up happening here was that kind of let him walk all the way up, right? So you press it a little bit late here. And the reason this is too late is because he's already in range for his button now, right? So like
Yeah.
the range of your heavy button, like the range advantage is now nullified because he's closer. So now you're pressing a slower button there's no upside now, right? So like you said, a medium would probably make more sense, right? If you press medium here, try to stop this. This is kind of slow too, right? The his forward heavy punch here, or heavy punch, this is 9 frames, right? It's a little slow, right? A little slow. But your move is like 12 frames or whatever, right? So it's slower than
I think so.
So
it's 16.
Yeah. Oh, 16. Okay, wow. So definitely
Yeah.
slower, right? But you can see why it's so good though, or what makes it good is that the range is absurd, right? And it's hit controllable and all that stuff, right? So landing it is you get a reward, but the downside is that it's slow, right? So here you could have challenged with like a medium button that might have worked, right? So I talk about this a lot. Like the space dictates what buttons you can and can't press, right? So from like we were talking about here, you can't really press heavies anymore, right? But from here, heavies now make sense, right? Right about here, press a heavy. Right about here, press a medium, right? It's like, getting that sense takes time, right? It takes practice and all that, but you can see what I'm going at, right? Is that like if you had pressed an appropriate button at that spacing, this interaction goes differently, right? So
yeah.
Ouch. Okay, take a throw here. Okay, reversal here, totally fine. Uh-oh. Okay. I would definitely keep jumping at the Sakuma. he has an anti-RD once, right? So. Oh.
That was a mistake.
And then he challenges. Yeah, that's tough. So I think EX
yeah,
roll,
on
right?
block that never works.
Yeah, I think EX roll is what you want here, right? So.
Does EX roll work there?
I think because I want to say that if you do EX roll, and I'm speculating at this point, but I want to say EX roll allows you to land things, and like the buttons out of EX roll is going to be plus. I think it's like free enhancement basically, but I don't know.
I think they might still get to hit you out of it though.
Jab you out of them, huh? I'm not sure.
If they're jab happy, I think you can't go for roll basically ever.
Yeah, I think it's always fake, right? I don't think there's any. Unless you drive rush your button, I guess maybe that could work, but yeah, like
that's a lot of meter.
Yeah, so let's see. Oh yeah, right. So you see the
that's fake. That was just me thinking I hit, and I thought I was comboing when I definitely wasn't.
Yeah. So here, okay, kind of autopiloted. But here I think that's also not gonna work. This jab interrupts you, right? So he's like +3 here. So yeah, gotta be careful there. If the opponent's smashing jab, then you kind of have to cool it on the fake stuff, right? Unfortunately.
Yeah. I think in that case, that was just autopilot.
Yeah, autopiloted and thought it was a hit and it wasn't.
Yeah.
It's off slide.
Oh, yeah. And that's not safe when it's that close.
Yeah.
If he doesn't walk forward, it's safe. If he does, it isn't.
Oh, okay. You can space that to not be as minus, I guess. Okay.
It's -2 at like the good range.
Oh, really? Okay. So then, I don't mind that at all. He made a decision on your movement and you got clipped for it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Driver overhead. Akuma classic. Right into super. All right, Oki situation. Mash. But it worked.
I mean,
it's okay. I'll say that if it's working, right? So
into this guy, I was not punished too much for it.
Yeah. So far, like what I've seen so far is that every Oki, like you mash and he got beat by it, right? So he needs to clean up his meaty game and his setup game to stop this from happening. But that's not your problem, right? So
yeah.
No cancel. That's
no combo.
Okay, good parry here. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, you parry anti-air parry. That can happen, right? So you parry a certain.
Are you supposed to go for grab there? Or?
So let's take a look, right? So you parry this.
Yeah.
And.
Or is that just too slow?
He is recovered in minus. You're only +2 here.
So I don't really get anything.
Oh, sorry, you're +5. You could have gone for throw.
Oh, okay.
So let's take a look at the frame meter, right? So there's the parry. Oh, right here, right? So he's still airborne, but you could have done something right here if you'd pressed immediately.
Gotcha.
So, yeah, the throw actually whiffs, right? So maybe that works.
I just was a little slow then.
Yeah. Because you're because the option it's a little bit deceiving, right?
Yeah.
Because if you look at like when the frame meter actually goes to neutral and when Elena stops like looking like she's in recovery, it's a little deceiving, right? So
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
tell
yeah.
people is that you could generally press a little sooner than you think you can in those scenarios, right? So if you see that,
Yeah.
you press, you get 5 frame window, you can press a little early, right? So because if you look right here, you can move now, right? And then it's actually +5. So he is -5 here, so 5 framer, 4 frame, 5 frame would work here, right? So technically a throw does work, but you're out of range, unfortunately, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of the downside of the anti-air perfect parry is that this situation can happen, right? You don't get a reward other than a cool screen freeze if you perfect parry anti-air, right? Now if you had DP'd, you get a reward, right? So
Yeah.
all right, so now the Akuma is blocking. All right, good challenge.
I do notice I kind of have a pattern on what option I pick after drive rush cancel.
A little bit, yeah, and
Be a
that's
little better about that.
yeah, and it's just a mix-up thing, right? Like if you do the same thing over and over again and your opponent dies to it, then I would argue that you should keep doing that thing. But if your
Yeah.
opponent is starting to deal with it, then you have to kind of change it up, right? The reason you see a lot of like, you know, quote unquote high level players changing it up all the time is because they expect the opponent to also be changing up the defensive option, right?
Yeah. That makes sense.
But if your opponent can't deal with it, it's not your problem, right? Just keep doing it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that sucks. Okay. All right, so there is another situation where you got hit because you're trying to back up, right?
Yeah.
Right. Let's take a look at your inputs here. I'm going slower because as soon as you get hit, the KO screen comes up and it stops the this thing. So, right, you're backing up. Right. No reason to be doing this at this point, right? Just hold down back at this right here. Like backing up from here is actually very difficult, right? Now, if he goes for throw, maybe this gets you out of it. But he's like point blank, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, trying to back up from this scenario is I don't think this is necessarily correct. That's all right. I think like in this scenario here, given that he's going for a meaty here, right? You make a read, go for the reversal potentially, or just block it out, right? Because he can't kill you. If he does that block string, like he can't kill you, right? Like you block it out,
Yeah.
that's it, right? Maybe deal with mix up, right? Maybe he tries to go for throw or whatever, and that's kind of scary too. But like this is the losing option, if you will, right in this scenario, right? He goes for a wake up low, you know, on your Oki, that's gonna kill you, right? So unfortunate.
Yeah. I don't know why I was holding just back.
It's like I think it's generally like a subconscious thing when I talk to people, like they don't recognize they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's because you're like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be standing next to this guy at all.
Because
So,
I used to have the problem that I'd hold down back too much because of Guile.
yeah. You won't move at all, right? And you just plant.
Yeah.
Which I think is a little bit better as an option overall because there's a lot of people that will do wake up lows, right? They'll do a drive rush crouching light kick, right? Or something like that.
Yeah.
And you're trying to back up and get clipped, right? Sometimes it's just the mix up because they're like, they do a drive rush at you and you're like trying to figure out if they're going to do a high low and maybe sometimes you don't react in time or you guessed wrong or whatever, you get clipped. But just holding back there, maybe if I was going to overhead, I don't know. But typically you do want to just crouch block as your default, right? So that all said, I think like if I were to try to pinpoint a couple of things where we can improve, I think the main thing is like on defense, just be willing to block a little bit more. Try not to mash as often. Now again, in the games that we looked at, I think he was working fine as a response to something that the opponent is doing. But if against your average like ranked warrior, if you will, you do kind of want to be conservative and then go to like the more hard read options after, right? So block more.
Yeah.
Try not to do wake up options as often, right? Because again, like you saw against me, right? I just like, oh, he's doing a lot of wake up mash. Let me change my offense to beat that. And then there was no adjustment again afterwards, right? You kind of just got hit a couple of times and then he went for reversal because you were tired of getting meatied, right? And then I was able to kind of condition you to want to do that and then start backing off the offense to try to bait those reversals, right? So,
Yeah.
that's probably the big thing to work through is that on defense, trying not to be active or as active. Again, nothing wrong with being active on defense, right? I think it's if you're making an adjustment to what your opponent is doing, it makes a lot of sense. But I think, you know, doing less on defense is probably going to be better overall. I also think that anti-airing could be a little better, right? Because everyone can work on anti-airs, of course, but you do need to be better about that. a lot of the mix-ups at this Akuma in particular, and I think ranked in general in the diamond range, a lot of the offense is generated by jump in, right? Blocked or not. Like you get hit by a jump in, obviously a combo happens, but blocking a jump in usually results in some sort of minus frames for you, right? So like, because they hit you high, you block some, they have to recover all that stuff, and they recover in time. So like, there is still a reward for the opponent when they jump in at you and it's blocked, right, or parried. Right? Perfect parry aside, there's some wonky things that happen there, but even with a parry, the frame data doesn't change, right? So you're still technically in a disadvantaged state, right? So the ideal situation is to not be in the first place, which is just DP, right? Like the jumps should be a free 1200 or whatever damage that they, the free DP damage, right? So that'd be one thing. Execution, obviously you can grind that out. I'm not too concerned about that. I'm sure you'll figure it out like everyone does, right? They eventually get to a set of combos they're comfortable with. I do think that once you have the execution down, and you're able to kind of do the combos that you want to do, I think working through some setups would also be beneficial, right? So I know you do a lot of like meaty jab stuff, and I think that's great. Like Mania's high meaty jab, I think that's a good thing to do. But for Elena, you can probably work on getting some setups that force plus frames, force frame traps, that type of thing, right? Trying to mix me up effectively, right? Because if I'm able to just defend everything you're doing on wake up and Oki and all that, you're gonna have to play more neutral, right? And if there's more neutral interactions and you're not winning them, right, you're gonna end up losing, right? So, spend less time in the phase of the game that you are losing in, right? So, like, if you're not winning some neutral interactions, then try to force more Oki situations when you do get a knockdown, right? So,
that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of it. I think like once you kind of are a little more patient on defense, right, be willing to block more and all that, and anti-air, I think your win rate's going to go up, right? You're going to find yourself in more advantageous situations, and then once your execution is grinded out, you'll be able to do setups, and then I think you'll be on your way. Because your neutral, I think, is totally fine, like for where you are, and in terms of like the rank journey, if you will, for the character now. I think you have a good understanding of, mostly good understanding rather, of like the spaces that make sense for her to press, and like the ranges you want to be at. I think there was a little bit of an issue in the game we watched where like the space in the corner may not have made sense, and again, it's because you can't back up, right? So like if that same scenario happened mid-screen, I bet money that you'd probably back up and then press the button, and that would work, right? But in the corner, you can't do that, right? So you have to kind of take a little bit of a risk to press your button, right? But spacing wise, I think once you kind of get a sense, you have a good sense of like her buttons. So I think as you get better at that and landing it more on the tip, I think you'll be in pretty good shape overall, right? And then the only other thing I would add, maybe some of the Elena specific stuff that I can't.
Yeah.
What setups can you do on block target combo into roll type stuff? Like what are the real setups, fake setups? Like what can you bait? That would probably be the next thing I would look at if you're looking at the next steps from here, because that's going to be important to know, because it makes, again, your Oki game better, and you'll be able to open up opponents better, right? So that'd be next, I think. But yeah, otherwise, I think you're doing pretty well. Elena's kind of is obviously the newest character, right? So where you're at right now, I think is totally fine. As soon as some of those things get cleaned up, I think you'll be in master pretty quick with this character. So, yep.
Cool,
man. So with that said, did you want to run it back? You have time for that, or?
Sure. Yeah, I got time.
All right, let's do it.
I'll turn off your stream to save bandwidth.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite you in one sec here. Oops.
Yeah, I think Elena is more technical than Guile by a lot, so it's been a lot.
Yeah, I think the roll combo stuff and some of the extensions are a little bit more execution heavy, I think. I mean, Guile obviously at like the high level is like
yeah, I mean, I'm not a boom loops or anything.
Yeah, we're not doing boom loops, right? So it's a little different. But yeah. So yeah, I think like if you're trying to do something in this game, just try not to mash jab as often, I guess would be the immediate sort of thing. We'll see how that goes, because you're gonna force me to make an adjustment, right? So
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Ah,
Oh. Oh no, cancel.
yeah.
Oh, level 1.
My level 1's not invincible.
Oh, is it not? Oh yeah, that's right, huh?
Nope.
I totally forgot. I could have done that way
Elena
sooner.
sucks it.
Oh, that's whiffed.
Nice.
Nice. Oh. Oh.
Nice.
That was the wrong. I don't know how Crouch Medium came out there. Nice DP. Oh. Oh.
Oh, what? I thought I was holding back.
I think I might have caught the jump. Oh, what did you just.
I just thought I was blocking that.
Ouch. Oh.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I didn't link?
I had to remember to mash it.
Yeah, I gotta mash through it.
I didn't think I was holding forward there. I was just going
That's
for
the,
a normal
that's the one
standing
thing
put.
with the command normals. You gotta make sure your movement is clean, right?
Yeah. Oh, damn.
That was better. Nice.
Oh, that was plus, though. That was risky.
This range is so just. I don't know where I'm supposed to stand.
Ah, man. Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough, right? Because like if I'm checking all of your movement options, it seems like, oh, I have to like get into range, press button, and then every time I do that, it seems to get hit. That's tough. Ooh, there's a counter poke.
Whoops. That was the wrong one.
Nice slide.
Nice. Yeah.
Oh. Oh, that was sick. Oh, that was dope. I went for a button there, it didn't work. Oh. Oh, nice throw.
I actually just learned about that today. There's a video on like what high level players do.
Oh, the throw in the
Apparently,
DI.
Ken's
Yeah,
medium
yeah.
doesn't.
Yeah, it does. It's not a true.
Yeah,
It's not a true string.
nice.
Crouching mid punch buffer. It took forever. That range is so weird, dude. It's like I swear I'm hitting you, but it's not. So yeah, I think you did a better job there, trying to stay patient. There was some situations where I think the muscle memory kind of took over and you mashed through it, and that is what it is. But you know, it's just a learning process, right? It's hard to like make an adjustment like that immediately. So it's what it is. But otherwise, I think like you're well on your way here. I think like once you clean up some of that stuff we were talking about, I think you're like you saw how much harder I had to work in neutral in this game, right? You were spacing me out pretty well. And then there's a couple of mistakes, obviously, but you know that's just execution cleanup. So it's cool, man. Yeah, good.
The Genrai stuff. Do I basically just have to ODDP?
Yeah, so I have a video on that on the
Oh,
Juzzy
okay.
thing, the whole situation there. A couple of different options you can do. It kind of depends on. I don't know Elena's frame data, so I can't tell you exactly, but it does kind of depend. I think ODDP is like the safe option where you'll always be able to blow up like a medium Jinrai if you block that. But there's some options. You can go for like fuzzy guards, fuzzy jabs, perfect parries. Like there's some options. So I'll send you the video
Sure.
after we chat here. But you have some options. You have to take a look at your frame data though, just to make sure that it is gonna work. I think Elena's
Yeah.
ODDP should work, and her level 3 should work. Is her level 2 invulnerable? I don't actually know.
Level 2 is invulnerable.
Okay, then it should work too.
And
If
it's projectile
okay.
invulnerable too.
So yeah, double check the frame data just to make sure that it will work. I'll send you the video. It talks about it. You can just skip through it to see that. But yeah, otherwise, cool, man. Any other questions or comments?
No, I mean, I think I felt a little assured that it's just a lot of small stuff. I've been kind of in my head a bit. Elena's hard.
Yeah. I think for a lot of folks, especially at you know in this diamond range, right, when your character is there, it's really a lot of it ends up being some decision making in situations where you probably weren't thinking about making decisions, right? Like we talked at length a lot about decision making when you block something, right? Like you block something, you're -2. There's a whole thing that has to come into the decision you make after that. And I think a lot of players don't consider that happening. Like for a lot of players, especially again in this kind of diamond to master rank, the decision making happens at Oki, right? Like on the knockdown on offense, right? There's a decision to be made on the defensive option, but like there's decisions being made constantly through neutral, right? Your decision to walk forward, walk back, press a button, not press a button, like those things matter a lot too. It's just that you don't always think about that because it's not really like, oh, I don't feel like I'm making a decision. It's kind of subconscious, right? So the more you're able to bring that into conscious decision making, the better. It's gonna suck for a while because now your brain is like, I just block something. What do I do? And then by the time you decide what to do, you're already dead, right? Like that's how it goes. But the more you bring that to the forefront, the more you'll be able to kind of like, okay, well, I see a situation, I can just react with X, Y, Z option, right? It's like you know, you recall that memory, muscle memory, and then you just do it, right? So, but yeah, cool, man. So yeah, I'm just gonna close out the stream for to hang out if you want, but I'll meet you on stream anyway. But yeah, otherwise, thanks for coming on, man. Appreciate you. Hope you had a good time.
Yeah, thanks. I'm gonna head out, but
Cool.
yeah, no, this was sweet.
Yeah, cool, man. So yeah, thanks for coming on, and we'll talk to you later.
Yeah, bye.
Thanks everyone watching. This is Don't Shut Up. Appreciate you guys. If you guys are still here watching the whole time, thank you guys again for the congratulations on making GM. It's a big deal for me because I've been hard stuck for a long time. Finally got the chance to actually go through it. Appreciate it. So I know I don't always acknowledge everyone following, liking, and chatting and all that. I do appreciate it. I'm always just kind of looking at who I'm working with, so but I end up focusing on them. So I run this through the Fight Rise Discord. So Fight Rise is a fighting game community focused mostly on Street Fighter 6. They do bi-weekly tournaments through their One Fight Stand series. They have basically a 7-round Swiss every 2 weeks on Tuesdays. And if you're in Master anyway, you get 7-round Swiss. I think they've separated out, so there's certain rank ranges in Master where if you're higher Master, you get you're gonna put a certain pool. Lower Master, a certain pool. You get 7-round Swiss. If you're not Master and you join, you're like Diamond or Platinum or whatever, you get put into a non-Master pool where you get to run a round robin. So I think it depends on how many people show up. They can put you in like a round robin situation where you get 7 rounds, something like that, with however many people show up in the pool. So come join that. It's a really good time. Good way to get tournament sets in kind of a lower stakes, lower kind of pressure environment. Good way to get tournament sets, and you also get to play, Swiss tournament, right? So you're not, if you're not out after 2 like you would at your local for double elimination, right? So good way to get a lot of games against a lot of people. They also do community showcase events through their Urge to Fight series, right? So take a look at twitch.tv/FightRiseFGC if you want to take a look at some of those past events they've done. So if you're part of the community and you participate, play games, you get featured on one of these things. I do commentary for them every once in a while. So it's a good time there. We also, if you like what I'm doing here and want to get a session like this for yourself, take a look at the Fight Raise Discord. I'm on there. The channel is called Sit Down and Shut Up. There'll be instructions on how to join. There's other coaches there too. Jason Loserpants does coaching as well as Satora. So if either of those guys sound like you want to get coaching from them, take a look at their channels. It's under training. I think it's called Level Up now, the section. So take a look at that. You can see instructions on how to sign up for coaching sessions like this if it's interesting to you and want to do this. Other events I got to plug. So the other thing that Fight Rise runs is Big League KO. So Big League KO is basically their league format. It's a 8-person round robin that's run over the course of 5 weeks. You run 2 matches a week. They're all first to 5s. You put in a pool, rank separated pools. So you have to get an opportunity to play longer sets, kind of a flexible scheduling set over the course of a month, basically. And then at the end of that, there's a postseason. So if you make it out of your pool, you'd be put into a postseason bracket. I think it's a double elimination or whatever bracket they decide to run it. And then there's postseason, and it's a good time, right? Tournament sets, right? So it's a good time. It's a very popular format because of the flexible scheduling, longer sets. So if that's interesting to you, take a look at the Fight Rise Discord and see when they're going to schedule. I think they're taking a break right now for summer. I think the next one's going to be later this year. Don't quote me on the actual dates, but that's probably going to happen then. Additionally, if you let's see what else I need to plug. One thing that's already happening, but if you wanted to take a look at that, is the Lord of the Mains, right? So Lord of the Mains is sort of a cross Discord tournament run by this Discord, Fight Rise, as well as Newbie Fight Club, the Moon Marauders Discord, and the Warriors Den Discord, basically hosting a bunch of matches for figuring out who is the best at the mains, right? And I think they're going to be doing the post. They've already finished the round robin phase for that, so the postseason for that, where there's going to be a tournament, should be starting in a couple weeks now. And I think the top 8 or top 4, or whatever they're going to do, is going to be streamed at a future Fight Rise event. So if that sounds interesting to you, join any of those Discords, take a look at what's happening there, and it's a good time, and those should be streamed. I'm also part of the Newbie Fight Club. So Newbie Fight Club is a fighting community focused on getting newer players into fighting games, mostly Street Fighter 6. We run lobby nights every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Mondays typically a modern night, so if you're interested in running modern, modern is kind of encouraged there to try things out. You don't have to run modern, but it's kind of the theme, if you will, of the lobby night. Wednesday is a newbie lobby night, so if you are interested in meeting new people, playing games in kind of a lower, more casual environment, and you want to be on voice chat with people, Wednesday night is the time to show up for that. Friday is usually a bit of a toss-up, meaning that it's a little bit more free-form. People just meet up and play games in the Battle Hub. Sometimes they do tournaments. I think it's bi-weekly. They'll do a Swiss tournament, so if you are interested in that in Newbie Fight Club, getting a more tournament experience, you can sign up for that. Another big thing they've been doing recently is the Modern Monthly. So if you're a Modern Warrior and you want to test your mettle against other Modern Warriors that exist, I think they do a Modern only tournament once a month on Mondays, right? So if any of those things interest you, join the Newbie Fight Club Discord, take a look at the events there, and see when the next one is, right? So again, I'm very active on both these Discords, so if you want to get in touch with me for whatever reason, talk to me, get Sesame, whatever, join those Discords, ping me, DMs are open, so feel free to reach out to me, we can chat. So again, appreciate you guys, everyone that follows, the chats, the messages and everything. I really do appreciate it. It means a lot, and it helps. So thank you guys so much for watching, and have a good night.